All right, guys. Welcome back to the second one shot. Hopefully, listen, there were some serious technical problems. We're getting started 40 minutes late. Once again, OBS deleted my everything, and I had to set up everything by hand from scratch. But we're back, and maybe the players here will be good with running a little late tonight. I don't know.
Silver
Also,
lining, now you're even better at setting up streams.
I am exactly as as good as I was 2 weeks ago when I had to do it for Reign of Winter or Winter's Edge.
Yeah.
So I'm
Pass,
at
passing
the
off
exact
free,
same level of
setup
goodness.
stream test. And,
Yeah.
We're good.
Tux is in both of these shows. I think he might be the reason.
Yeah.
Why
Oh, no.
there's problems.
Blame Tux is real. No.
The thing.
I mean,
No.
in the shows Tux isn't on, have you ever had OBS wipe all of your?
Never.
So,
Fine.
let's all in the chat congratulate Virgil for living another year without dying.
Yay.
It is not as easy as it looks. Thousands and thousands of people die daily around the world.
More than that, even.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And most people used to just get an infected tooth and die because there was no such thing as a dentist. I mean, for a long
Most people died from like tonsillitis when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And
so.
dear Lord, how
Die
many
tonight
people-
on stream.
Yeah, I'm basically an ancient one now, guys. So if you want to use the title, it is
I mean-
capitalized.
Are you comfortable sharing your current age on stream?
No. I have to maintain my youthful appearance.
Gotta maintain the
Once you-
illusion.
Once
They
you
find
break
out
300,
about how many
it really
surgeries
doesn't
I've had and
matter.
stuff. They'll think I'm bigger.
I mean, have we ever seen you in direct sunlight?
No,
Fair point.
No,
fair
there
point.
is no evidence of that. No, I just turned 34 this year. Just usually a fair bit older than people would guess. But yeah, I'm an old ass man. Been around a long time.
I mean,
You're old
my-
enough to have a midlife crisis,
Yeah,
and for it
Yeah.
to be legitimate. People have it at younger ages, but they're wrong.
but they're wrong. Exactly.
But they're
I'm old
wrong.
enough to go insane and be right about it. Thank
I'm-
you.
I had a midlife crisis when I was like 18.
I'm not going to mention that I'm older than you, so it's fine.
Just get it.
I
it
mean,
done,
you
right,
just mentioned
Wreckage?
that you're older than
Have
him.
No comment.
She technically didn't. she can
I
neither
mean-
confirm
You
nor
can
deny
say that about anything.
that she is.
Well,
I'm not going to mention that I have no pants on right now.
So,
now-
we're just going to cut in here and just start introductions.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
role
start
playing.
introductions.
Rather
Hey,
than this
I start today?
buffoonery, this clear buffoonery. Yeah, Virgil, why don't you tell us about yourself and
Hey.
your week?
my week's been going pretty good. I'm Virgil, also known as Zircon5 on the Twitch. That's the Twitch handle, twitch.tv/Zircon5. I play role-playing games all across the Twitcher nets, and I tweet at things on the Tweeter nets at Virgil Levenger. For my birthday today, I was given a gift of a piece of clothing. Emblazoned upon it is the character from our Star Wars game here on APGamingREAL, Toby. So here it is.
Oh shit!
Mhm.
What the fuck? How did
That
this
is-
happen?
It's fucking glorious. Can you see the whole thing? I don't know how framed I
Yes.
am.
It's
Yep,
not amazing
good.
looking on the camera, but I'm sure it's way more better looking in person.
Yeah, I'm sure the camera can't get it.
I mean,
It's dope. My
everyone's seen that
girlfriend had it
picture
made
that
for me.
watches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I'll be repping that. I was gonna wear it today, but it's just too cold in my house, and I have a thing on anyways. But yeah, excited about getting back into some Wild West alloy of law.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Tux, let's
Yeah.
talk about you.
Hey, so I'm officially internet famous. I had a
That's true.
I had a troll on Twitter. A troll on Twitter that was trying to troll me about like not being cool and friendly with people that you're playing games with, which was really weird to be trolly about. Like he was like, "No, you should just feed him to the wolves and screw their feelings." And I'm like, "Hey man, why can't we all just get along?" And he's like, "No, fuck that shit." Like, okay, man, you be you. So there's that. Yeah, my week's been pretty normal. Making my character for this, getting ready for weekend roleplay times and drinking alcohol.
Let's talk
That's
to you,
good.
Wreckage.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wreckage. I'm really excited to play Alloy of Law tonight. Speaking about our conversation earlier about ages, I'm curious since we're talking, being all sad about who's oldest. Adam, how old are you?
Actually, there's a painting in an attic about halfway around the world that ages for me.
You would leave it in a house halfway around the world where you couldn't.
I don't even know where it is. How is anyone else gonna find it?
Someone could just find it. They could set it on fire.
Probably did. It's a very nice painting. It's up on a wall.
Anyway, I was trying to bait the other half of this conversation into finding out if I'm the youngest or not. But
Yeah,
clearly,
shit.
yeah, clearly we'll just have to guess our way through it.
How
Follow
old are
me
you,
on
Wreckage?
Twitter. I am 25.
Then we would be the same age.
Ooh,
If I were a year older.
Get
Bam.
fucked me.
It was a trap.
the base.
You walked right into it.
I did, and that well executed by Adam. If only he could execute role playing as well.
I'm gonna punch all the stuff tonight.
Yep. So yeah, follow me on Twitter at Dr. Wreckage, not spelled like on the thing, but full spelling of doctor. And that's about it. Next person.
Kelsa.
Hi. I'm Kelsa. I am also drinking alcohol, although you can't tell because it's mixed with Coke. So there's a surprising amount of Jameson in that glass. Looking forward to this. I have had I'm so hyped to play Alloy of Law. You don't even know. I have been bombarding them all fucking week with ideas about my character, and oh my gosh, no.
Mhm.
It's been incessant. Virgil said to me today,
It's like
there are
oh
100
God.
there are 100 messages in the Mistborn Skype chat. I can't read that. Wreckage.
this shit.
Wreckage summarize it for me, and so I summarized the 100 messages that he had missed. It was pretty great.
And it was probably summed up with Kelsa is super stoked about playing Alloy of Law.
Basically, we're riding the hype train.
It was Kelsa stoked about Alloy of Law, something about something else I forget, and also, oh yeah, we've been doing rules wrong. That was the other conversation.
Oh right, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, so that was the conversation that he missed.
Mm-hmm.
We're good.
Yeah, I've been so hyped. I'm making a physical figurine for a character that exists in a virtual game.
Mm-hmm. It's a sickness.
One day it's going to be it's going to be painted and look badass. But
Awesome.
here's a preview. You can't really tell what's going on there, so don't worry. I'll take.
And she hasn't even played yet.
I know. So
she
bad.
hasn't even played.
You don't even know how hyped I am for this. It's
it would be a shame if Arthur ruined this by killing us all in this episode. Or
I'd be really
whatever
sad.
horrific thing he has
I
planned.
mean, it's fine.
It would be a real shame if something happened to that tabletop RPG you like so much.
But what are you extorting us for?
I don't know. Jesus. My own tears.
Oh man.
Man, I almost literally cried on camera for all 4 of these other players when I found out all my scenes are deleted. I had a nervous breakdown, probably.
We're here for you.
Completely silent for like 40 minutes as I'm just moving things around on a screen.
We were here for you.
I know.
We
I
have,
know.
like, long conversations with
Well,
no
there it is.
further
Even if none of
input.
these guys can go late, I can. So we'll just
I
do.
can
I'm
also
good.
go late. I
I'm
don't
good,
have to work tomorrow, so that's bonus.
I don't have a life.
I am increasing my charm from 2 to 3 so that there are statistical possibilities for me succeeding charm thing.
Because we didn't have a break of any kind.
Yeah, you can't until we have a breather. Remember, you can only spend it during breathers. Long breathers, I think.
Yep. Long breathers.
So hold your shit there, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl.
But
That's
don't
not the obvious
worry,
one. We all
I
have, like,
have a
7
feeling
minutes
that
during
when
charming.
new people show up, perhaps you should take a long breather to work on your plan. It'll mean losing Brieger and his boys, but
What?
And the boys.
I'm APGamingREAL. If you're watching this, and this is the first time you've ever watched my show, watch any other episode I've ever done. I don't want to reintroduce myself because we're so late tonight. So instead, we're going to start with the thunderous sound of a train.
Do we not have to do character creation for these two.
Don't. Jesus, Wreckage.
I don't want
Just trust me on this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wreckage, your trust levels are way low lately.
So
I've never
We're the
trusted
masters of
anyone.
our craft.
I've never trusted anyone.
just trust me on this. I can work on this. The train's engine is actually glowing red from how hot it is. And we hear the squeal of the brakes going on as the train slides over a mile slowly into station. And we see, looking over, the humble town of Medil. Now, it's not Elendil. Nothing can be Elendil. A town made by God perfectly for humanity, but it's as close as you can get anywhere else in the world. It's laid out in almost a Philadelphia Ben Franklin style, squares crossing grid lines. There's a beautiful statue just off of the railway station in the center of town of Harmony, creating the basin that Medil is in. And all of that is immediately broken up by a scene of a man jumping out the front of the engine, screaming and throwing brass armbands down and going, "Well, son of a bitch, purities in this goddamn, you know what? They said this is ferrochemical. Fire soul. I'm about to literally be my soul on fire." And the guy that's manning the water tower is like, "All right, listen, we'll get you some replacements." And he's like, "Well, you better check the ferrochemical. I mean, if it's impure, I'm literally going to die before I get to the place I'm going." People start coming off of the train, whether this is their stop or whether they're just, stretching their legs. It's unclear. A man steps out in a derby hat with a pipe that he is puffing away on and a broadsheet of the Elendil Daily, the newspaper that Daryl writes for. And he's wearing a robe made almost entirely out of copper threads woven into it. And a precocious young 7-year-old girl, just young enough that she can still get away with wearing trousers rather than a dress or a skirt, comes bouncing up to him with said trousers and a ridiculously small jacket and a 24 Jack Bauer style messenger bag, and is like, "Hello there, Governor. I assume that you're Coop." And he's like, And she hands him over 2 letters. One is addressed from the Merchants Guild of Medil, and the other is from Lady McFanny. And he opens them both out and hands the young woman a coin. And she's like, "Why is your name so weird?" And he's just like, And she's like, "Yep, I knew it was you. They told me you was a freak." And then she does a handstand, jumps on the handstand, pushing one with her hands, flips the coin down, and starts doing cartwheels through the air as she coin shots away.
Oh, damn.
Lifting into the air, immediately jerking at a right angle as she pushes off of the train and just goes flying over the town. You can hear, some train conductor at the back of the thing, like, "Hey, girl, stop pushing on the dang train!" And the man is just pulls out a business card that says Agent of Inquiry and looks down at the end of the train and says, "It seems that I have much work here to do in Medil. Ticket man, I'll be getting off here." And the ticket man's like, "Sir, this is your stop. This is actually your stop." And he's like, "Oh, yes, of course." And he looks directly at the camera and says, "I remember now. I remember everything."
Is this the Uno anime all over again?
No, I've been planning this since last week. But that Uno anime was quite good.
Right, because there was that thing where I didn't take any damage, but I got this whole thing.
We go to the back of the train where I believe you have a horseless carriage, right, Daisy?
I sure do.
So there's like a Kolos-blooded man operating a crane and getting your car off of the last part of the train, and is like, "Oh, excuse me, ma'am, is this your conveyance?"
Well, it sure is. Now
Well,
you need to be careful with that.
I must say it is a very fine Landau. Now, I mean, and then he like, and the car like drops a couple inches before hitting the ground. Sorry, I mean, just wow, you're so beautiful out here. Anyway, oh, that's your friend over there. Hello, and this dude is like acting kind of like a child, but his arms are literally the size of like fucking footballs as he's like waving it, just huge muscles at Disha. So why don't the two of you describe yourself, and let's go through the character creation process, and fuck you, Wreckage.
All right.
I know what I'm doing. You're getting off a train.
I
Go first.
thought you might have forgot with all of the things.
No. As some of us might know,
Oh,
I remember everything.
okay.
God damn it.
Agent of Inquiry.
Don't get too attached.
Sounds like almost like a threat.
Now I have-
It
now
sounded
I
a
have to
lot like
punch
a threat.
somebody.
Yeah, so who
Yeah,
wants to go
Daisy, you can
first?
go first if you want.
All right, we're talking about Daisy then.
All right. Are we gonna describe characters first, or do character creation things?
I mean, they're one and the same. So if you want to physically describe yourself and then describe your traits, tragedy, destiny, and background, you know,
Sure.
you do what you want. It's your
So-
camera.
Do you?
Daisy is 17. She is fairly androgynous for a teenager. She's wearing her hair is cut short. It's kind of brown and a little bit curly, but she's wearing like a flat cap, kind of like Virgil's, with just like tufts of hair messily sticking out from the sides. She's got a like checkered shirt, like button-up shirt, and she's wearing like jeans or similar like durable pants held up with suspenders. She's she could definitely be described as boyish, which we'll get to in just a second as I go through my traits. And she's a little bit on the short side, but definitely has like what's the word I'm thinking of here? She definitely looks like she knows what she's doing. She's got an aura of confidence about her, basically. There's there's also a large dog healing very patiently at her side. A mastiff named May, who is just chilling out. So
I had someone point this out to me. I'm not going to say which show it's on. I will say it is a show about 4 young girls at a fighting academy. All of them share one trait, that they all have smirky, cocky grins. Do you share this trait? Is that where your boundless confidence comes from? Is your infinite smirkingness?
I mean, she would call it an adventurous nature, but yeah, I think there's kind of a smirky, cocky grin on her face.
Okay.
Can we call the anime Alloy of Law Infinite Smirk?
Brilliant. I would watch that show.
It's knowing anime, it's probably like Alloy of Law and then subtitle like Alloy of Friendship or something like.
No, we're not having this discussion a second time.
It's already an anime, so I mean, you know, what you gonna do?
Anything else you want to tell us about Daisy?
Let's see. Yeah, her hair is kind of like a mousy brown color. It's slightly curly, but also like really short. Like I figure like she cut it short to look a little bit more boyish, but actually it just accentuates the femininity of her face.
Mhm.
And She's got a pair of pistols, one on each hip. And
Have a pair on each hip in case you lose two.
That's too many. that's too many. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much.
All right.
What was your height?
She's about 5'7", well, 5'6", 5'7".
Okay, so yeah, pretty.
So yeah,
I mean,
like a few feet behind her, very contrast to that is monstrous tall woman. She is 6'11", like so just a hair under 7 feet tall. Very big, very muscular. She has like dark gray hair that's kind of like fairly long back in a ponytail. Her face is about as feminine as a Koloss blooded can get. Like, so it's still like pretty sharp and pretty like straightforward.
Whoa! Before you get too racist, there are mentioned to be several very beautiful Koloss women in Alamancer Jack.
I have seen one.
Okay.
I've seen a picture of one.
Okay.
And it's arguable. Yeah.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Which is true.
Which is why we hunt beholders and kill them for their eyes.
Which is why I didn't say it pretty. I said yeah, so like she's wearing kind of very, very simple clothes. Like Daisy's got like the checkered shirt and all the stuff going on, and she just kind of has like a very, very basic, like just regular cloth shirt. Like it's Alloy of Law's equivalent of like a tunic or something like really cheap back in old Mistborn. That's just on her. And then she has like kind of the same thing below as very, very simple pants. And then she's not wearing shoes, just her big blue feet stick out from under the below her. And yeah, once again, she is just enormous. Like her arms are like steel beams. And on her back we see basically take like a meat cleaver, put it in Photoshop and like pull it like 200 300 times what it's supposed to be, and that's like on a big sheath on her back.
So you have a Koloss sword, is what you're saying?
I have a Koloss cleaver.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I
They're
mean,
different.
They're usually.
Is it 4
Mechanically, they are
damage?
different.
Is it 4 damage?
I'm curious as
3
to
damage.
whether like the bottoms of your pants are like nice or if they're all like thrashed.
Pretty
Is
thrashed.
it all frayed?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's in like very, very casual stuff, and clearly this outfit has seen some battle. Yeah, like Virgil says, like kind of like the bottom of the pants are a little thrashed out. Maybe there's like a hole or like a tear or something like that was stitched in the side of the shirt. Like random chunks, like a chunk taken out of the bottom or something like that. Just like clearly she doesn't really care what she's wearing at all in this, like in the very slightest. Right now she has a job to do. She's like standing a few feet behind Daisy, just like basically watching around them like a hawk with her arms crossed.
Well, there is literally no chance that Dixon doesn't know the arrival time of the train. So he is almost certainly at the station and sees Desha first, probably.
No, wait. Did we talk about all of Desha's traits? Because I'm noticing some pretty interesting ones here, along with your tragedy and destiny.
I'm sorry, if I got I realized I also forgot to mention it. Her skin is blue. Just to put that out there, because she is a Koloss, so her skin's like a sky bluish, like a kind of light, more on the light side of blue, like probably a contrast against the very dark, like the gray of her hair.
Parasito asked a specific question, Tux.
I pictured Zarya when I was thinking of her. I actually said that exactly. I'm seeing her as Zarya, but blue and with like some different features.
Is Zarya 5 or 6'11"?
She may not be. She may be a little.
It's hard to tell in that game because
I'm not entirely sure how tall Zarya is. She's probably. I assume she's not 6'11". She's so. Desha's probably taller than that.
It's really hard going from the tallest character Bastion to playing the shortest character Torbjorn, because there is a serious perspective difference.
Going
Let's
through
talk about
Desha's
traits,
stuff.
destiny, and tragedy.
Sure. So her Desh's drive is find my place in this world. Her profession, what she was kind of doing before, before the whole crew thing, was laborer. Her specialty, I'm proud of this one. I am the one who knocks. Feature is odd woman out. Personality is strong resolve. Her tragedy is it's not slavery, it's indentured servitude.
What's the deal behind that one? Because that doesn't make a lot of sense to me on the front end.
Okay, yeah. Basically, like what I was thinking, and I guess if this doesn't make sense, we can work something else out. But like her, she was in like a clan and like a tribe of Kolos blooded people, and basically what happened is like this tribe was like tricked into by a bunch of humans came around and were like, hey,
I'm up now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like we respect you a whole lot and we want to give you some jobs and like make sure you get a place in this world. And they were like, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. And so like basically they signed their lives away. And then eventually some people found out and were like, yeah, this isn't okay. What the hell is going on here? And then that kind of left Desha without a home, and then she found a job with Dixon.
I see you moved down in the world then.
Dixon Beaumont, employer extraordinaire.
Her destiny,
only the finest individuals. So.
Job creator.
Exactly. Cool. Her destiny is paint something that shows I'm more than that kig.
Yeah, that's Kolos slang, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically like a certain word in real life for Kolos blooded.
Yeah, it's really racist to say.
Yeah.
Super racist.
Did we cover all of the traits, tragedy, and destiny for Daisy? I'm saying that in the way that I'm. It's rhetorical. So let's do that real quick, and then we'll get on to Dixon showing up to pick up his sister, even though he has to rent a carriage and she has a car.
I own my horse.
Oh, sorry. You own your poop mobile, your poop creator.
Specifically brought a horse and carriage out here so that it could not be stolen
of course.
Medil.
You know, your methane engine, right?
Right.
I know mechanically you can't lose props, but it's not about
No, I get it.
About sending a message.
I mean, you can lose props for a scene.
Right,
sure.
Yeah.
You just don't get them back to a breather. So let's talk about you, Daisy.
Okay, so Daisy's drive is she is adventurous. She's 17 and absolutely certain she knows everything that there is to know.
Mm-hmm.
And she was top of her class in marksmanship with her tutors, and she is ready. And that leads right into her profession. What she was doing before this was getting educated. Her profession is well educated. She spent most of her life being noble and getting information just crammed into her brain. And she's tired of that. It's time to move on. Her specialty, though, is that everybody loves her. She is about as charismatic as you can get without having any kind of elemental powers or full chemical.
Ferrochemical.
Ferrochemical. Thank you. That's the word. Just about as charismatic as you can get otherwise. Her feature is that she is boyish. She is fairly androgynous, and she doesn't have much of a bust going on. If she dressed slightly differently, she could probably pass as a boy until she opens her mouth. And then her personality is she is stubborn. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Her tragedy, I wrote like a paragraph and a half instead of like the 3 to 5 words everybody else did. So I'll sum up as her mother's death. She witnessed her mother's death and feels on a certain level that it might be her fault, even though it's definitely not. And anyway, and then she thinks her destiny is to prove that mundanes, people without powers, can run with the big dogs. You may have noticed that I did not mention any kind of powers that she has. That is because she has no metal powers. She is neither allomancy nor
Ferrochemical. You're not a metal born.
Yep. Nope. Not metal born at all. Which means I get a bonus trait which is ambidextrous. She
Ambidextrous.
She decided when she was
say
very
bi
young.
higher. Like,
It's like taking Nightwise and then only doing things at night. Because you're just gonna be, I'm gonna use my ambidextrous trait to just shoot
Use
with two
both
hands
of
all
my
the time.
hands.
I use both hands to eat this cheeseburger.
This is when we get into a series of really convoluted situations.
I
and
waited till night and then I.
one of her hands is tied behind her back all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you can't use
it
ambidextrous.
doesn't matter which one it is, though. That's the thing. You
Yep.
tie one of my hands behind my back. That's fine. I got my other one.
Yeah, but you can't get a
Yes,
bonus for.
Yeah, you can.
That's okay. At least I can get to be able to do the action that you can't do with one hand tied behind your back.
Hey-o.
I mean, I can't do anything with any hands tied behind my back. I hire people for that.
Next level, I can get another hand. So whatever.
Okay. I'm glad we're caught up. So before we jump into Dixon arriving, I want to say that Dixon won the straw poll last time, and he has won one advance.
Cool.
I have a new
what was
straw
it?
poll. I just don't remember what the category was called, so let me post it to myself. It is called Who Best Used Their Special Powers or Stunts.
Oh wait, I do
What
have
stunts?
stunts.
You have
Yeah.
stunts, you have abilities. You just need to use your abilities to the best effect. Just because you don't have special powers doesn't mean you aren't special.
It's true.
That's what Fallout
Okay.
4 taught me. So as we see Dixon arriving in his carriage, there's several teenage boys out selling things, blocking his path, and one's like, misting tonics, sir. You look like you might be misting. Perhaps you'd like one of these fine, high-grade allomantic metals. Can I offer you some aluminum, sir? From gnats to coin shots, you'll never find finer and more pure metals than here. Straight, locally sourced, right out of Trum, Medil, sir. And he's like walking backwards to stay in front of you.
Yeah.
It's like, I appreciate an up and coming entrepreneur. Here, you take yourself this shiny. Are it still called boxings?
I don't think so, but you can refer to it as that, and you'll just sound quaint.
That's what I would probably say because I'm old fashioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to say the correct thing, so we'll put word here and insert later. But you have yourself this shiny as a symbol of my appreciation of your hard work.
As
Audience,
soon as
can
you
take this
do, a
opportunity
bunch
to
of
put
other
ad-libs.
boys start coming over. And one is
Oh,
like,
God.
Sir, I have for you today an opportunity. You may have lived your entire life without ferrochemical powers, but have you considered becoming a fire soul with this, our carbonated beverage? You too can use the crushed ice and carbonation inside of it to cool yourself down on a warm day like today. The sugar content is at a ratio of such that you will be pleased by both the tingling of bubbles and the delicious taste inside. Some call this the elixir of life, sir.
So I imagine that he's giving that pitch, and like 3 other boys are
Yeah.
giving their pitches. And
I'm sure this guy has 7-Up. Buy a 6-pack.
I just sort of like I sort of play with my mustache for a second, and I say, "Better luck next time, boys. He beat you to it." And I keep walking through the crowd.
All right.
And I did that thing where I actually paused to appraise each of their pitches, but they were all equally bullshit, right? So it was just like,
Oh
better
no,
luck
this
next time.
if
particular
Sparkly Water guy had said lemon lime,
No, this sparkling
I would have
water
asked
is
to be
quite
in the
new.
scene.
This is new technology.
I mean, it's pretty fancy.
No one has seen sparkling water before. It's rumored the Kolos have it, but
Like how new? Like so new I wouldn't even have heard of it in Ellendale.
so new you would have only heard of it in that someone was working on a carbonation process. This is cutting edge stuff right here. They're charging a fortune for it too. It costs like more than a fancy dinner.
So what you're saying is I'd have to spend a research point to
No.
research-
I mean, this is something you would be able to just be like, here's some dollars, kid. But yeah, this is
You
gonna
know what?
be.
I do. I say,
This is like drinking your first delicious 7-Up or Sprite.
you know what? You've impressed me, son. Here, have yourself I'll buy 2. And I buy 2.
All right. Yeah, he
I'd
hands
say-
you over 2 elixirs.
And I hand him my business card. And I say, you want to break into the big times, you tell me who your supplier is. And then, I give him like a little wink and move on.
Feeling creative, audience? Why don't you make us an Elixir fan art? That's what we need.
Dixon Beaumonts, ginger ale.
or names for Alloy of Law Pop.
Mhm.
Or soda if you're wrong.
Google
Get-
blank soda
get
can.
out.
Get to
It's
work.
carbonated water, okay? All of you are rookies.
I mean, they're going to be called Beaumonts in the future.
All right. Dixon, Daisy, Desha. By the way, in case you didn't notice it, audience, I immediately noticed that all 4 of the characters started with D.
With 4 D's and an F.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Dixie,
but I
Daisy,
named
That's what they named
mine
us.
first. I'm pretty sure.
Dixon, Daisy, Desha. Let's talk about what happens when you all meet up.
I typed
All right,
it.
so I see Desha,
Yeah.
and I guess Virgil, if you wanted to be in the scene, would I be inviting my reporter friend to come meet my niece,
Maybe.
Sister?
my sister? I don't know why I thought niece just then. I'm pretty frazzled.
If so, I'm like that Nerps boy certainly does have a product, doesn't he?
Well, don't be running it. Don't be running into papers just yet. You wait until that's a Beaumont special.
I laugh at that. I do. He loves it. Like, of course, you got your fingers in everything, don't you, Mr. Beaumont?
It's important to stay on top of things. You understand. Speaking of things that are on top, I see a rather blue head sticking up above everybody in the crowd over yonder. That'll be Miss Desha.
Yeah, like appreciatively, like raise my eyebrows. Like, goodness. Well, let's say hello.
And so I move my way through the disembarking train crowd and the legions of urchin children trying to make money for their daily bread, and pass through into what I imagine is a more open space at the edge of the train because they're, loading and unloading.
Okay.
Sister, where's my beautiful baby sister Daisy?
And as I turn around, you see that she's smoking a thin cigarello.
That's fine. It's a past.
Oh, right.
That's fine. It's the past. I'd hand you one if you were pregnant.
These things are sold on their health benefits.
True. Mr. Beaumont.
Miss Desha, I trust that you had a pleasant journey. And
No
how
surprises along the way.
good, excellent to hear. How was your journey, Daisy? How is my beautiful baby sister?
Well, it was not quite as exciting as I was hoping it was going to be. We didn't even get robbed once.
Well, not every train is knocked over, but just in case I did have Miss Desha accompany you, as you're well aware. Look, I bought you a present, and I hand her one of the carbonated beverages.
What in the world is this?
It's the newest in beverage technology. Why, it could well be the future of our family business, if I have my way.
I guess I'll have a sip then. My goodness, what is that with the bubbles?
Isn't it just something else? I can't wait to see this on the front of every general store out in the roughs and back in Ellendale. Beaumont's Beverages. How's that sound?
Is that what you're doing out here?
Oh, I'm doing whatever.
Is that what you are wasting our fortune on?
I mean, I've got my fingers in every pie out here. You never know what's going to take off. It's an organic growth location. We're diversifying our portfolios outside of the box right now. Don't you worry your pretty little head. Miss Desha, I have some important business matters to speak of, but why don't you carry Daisy's bags to the carriage and we'll head back to the estate, such as
We take the Landau.
My Landau's almost done being set down.
Excuse me? You brought the Landau to Trum, Medil? You know what people are like out here, Daisy? He sort of like readjusts his hat, readjusts his tie.
Well, Diggs, I'm not just here to see you. I'm here to see the world.
what's done is done. We can't send it back on its own. We'd never see it again.
And
Missed-
like I whistle and like snap my fingers, and my dog May like jumps up into the passenger seat and like starts thwapping its overly large tail.
I assume the tongue is wagging out as well. Like,
Oh yeah. She is absolutely ready.
The
Well,
upholstery's going to be ruined out in this climate. Anyway, Miss Desha, I trust you will be able to drive the car. Unfortunately, you will have to follow my more mundane form of transportation in order to make it back to the estate. Please stay in the car with my sister, and we will have a business meeting when you get back to the manor, such as it is. This is my associate, Mr. Hot. He's a news reporter.
I have like a big bowler cap on, and I like grab the brim and tip it down. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
I bow at the waist since I'm wearing pants and say, well, the pleasure is all mine. And then I get into the car and I like adjust my cap and start the engine.
Oh, you're driving?
so as you're getting ready to
Of
go,
course I'm driving.
a woman in a fine Elendil dress, it's sky blue with little flowers on it, marewill flowers, approaches Dixon. And the dress is somewhat ruined in effect by the fact that she's wearing an enormous poster board on the front of it with straps over her shoulders and a poster board down the back. And it says, vote no to Proposition 31B. And she says, now, excuse me, are you Dixon Beaumont?
Why, that I am.
I was
And-
hoping to get your influence on a vote that's upcoming before the city council. How do you feel about electricity, sir? It's extremely dangerous. We don't need any of that technological sorcery out here.
I immediately pull out my notebook and start writing down like the what was it 32B and all that stuff.
31B, yeah.
Well, I'm afraid I haven't made your acquaintance. What's your name, miss?
Is my name really more important than the fact that they are attempting to bring electricity plants out here? All day in hot, sweaty conditions, having coin shots and lurchers, force-fed alcohol with flakes in it so that they can rotate magnets at high speed, all so that we can run wires with extremely deadly intent all throughout the town so people can stay up at night and party past Harmony's God-given sundown? No, sir, I say that this is ridiculous. Did you know that electrical coils are the leading cause of tumors in domesticated fruit bats, sir? Domesticated fruit bats. That is science.
Is she
And if
getting,
you
like,
do
shaking
that,
my head. Yeah, I'm shaking my head in like agreement, but like shaking like
I appreciate a woman who stands by her conviction. I was just trying to be personable. When is the next city council meeting about this particular?
why, it is 1 month from today, sir.
I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to move out the way.
So,
Desha's,
so
Desha's
she's just
sitting,
like,
sitting
I
in
will
the
not
back.
move out of the way of electricity.
You'll straight out of the
Electricity
way
will
of
not come to
property.
Trumadil as long as I live.
can I like put my arm like around her and be like, now who on the good basin would do something like that? Tell me.
Well, we're not in the basin, sir. We're in Trumadil. I think you need to check your surroundings.
It was an expression, miss. Look, this is Daryl Hart. He's my associate. He's with the papers. I think he would love to hear your side of the story and put it up in print. Now, wouldn't that just convince so many little minds?
Yeah, I'm curious who would be so dangerous.
So, yeah, she wraps her
ill-minded.
arm around you, Daryl, extremely improprietously. What woman does that to him? No, I'm just kidding. This is Mistborn. Vin was the hero of ages. Women are actually treated like not shit. She like guides Daryl away to begin explaining. It's basically mansplaining to him how electricity works.
Yeah, I'm like,
so
yeah, I know how electric.
I'm gonna give a knowing PC glance to Daryl Hart, which says something to the effect of, like, if you find out who's doing this electric plant, you will drink well at my estate. You know, the sort of
Yeah.
eyebrow wiggle.
PC glances.
So I will return to the horse and carriage and lead the Landau back to the Beaumont.
I'm curious, Daisy.
I like
are
that
you
the
gonna...
Beaumont PC glances. You will drink well at my estate.
You will drink well at my manor.
At least it's an original PC glance. It's not like the average, they're right behind you glance.
Are you gonna let this poop shitting contraption stay in front of your beautiful automobile? Are you gonna let your brother beat you back to the estate? Although, again, you don't actually know where it is. So.
That's why
I honestly,
Desha might know where it is.
the only reason that I'm following him is because I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Trust me, once I know where it is, this is not happening again.
It's probably even more awkward because I think Desha's too big for the back seat, so she has to do the thing where she sits on the back of the car with her feet in the seat.
And the car. How much does Desha weigh? I'm curious if it would be enough to like hurt the suspension.
250 pounds.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine.
No. It's the Beaumont Landau. Miss Desh has been in our service for years. We had the suspension upgraded.
Of course. But she sits in the back because my dog, May, sits in the front seat.
Of course.
Also, from the
wonderful
back
dog.
is where you can see all the danger.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Daisy, Desha, and Dixon ride off away from the beauty and grass cover of the center of town, down these dusty roads towards the kind of less savory parts of town where Dixon lives. Daryl, I'm curious. Did you actually want to discuss anything with this woman, or were you just being used
no,
to
I'm
drive
totally
away?
like, I can't believe someone would think to put up. They're gonna build this contraption. It's unheard of. I cannot. Who would do such a thing? I'm like trying to get the names of people involved and who like. If I can get like a name of a contractor that's like says they're building this, or someone that's saying they're hiring people to do it.
So it's currently being, you know what? I think that we should make this a contest. Like we should roll.
Okay.
To see how much you get.
Yeah. So,
because you're attempting to get information from her, and she's just attempting to force you to do what she wants, which is write a wonderful story. So it's not that you're not going to get information. Even if you fail, you're going to get something, but you're going to be miserable in the process.
All right. So this is a health test, right? I have 10.
This is
I
either
love making Arthur laugh.
This is a charm or wits test, depending on how you go about this.
I mean, what I'm doing is like ingratiating myself to her. Like, I guess I'm gonna just try to be like people need to know. I mean, one, you're so brave going out in the streets and with your sandwich board and making sure that people are informed that I can do much better. With the printed word is so powerful. When people read something, they really take it in. So I'm just trying to like trick her to think that I'm on her side and will actually amplify her message for her.
Yeah.
But really, I don't want anyone to know all these details.
Okay. So you are attempting to charm her, and she is attempting to do the same thing to you. So she is rolling 5 dice, and she is going to use the trait Striking Orator for 6 dice. Let's talk about you.
Okay, so I start with 3 for my wits.
Yes.
Wild West Reporter will give
Of
me
course.
4. I think that's about it.
Technically, mustachioed will work here.
Okay, mustachioed. And do I know of any?
You're muted, Kelsa.
Do I know of any like stories about electricity? Like, what have I heard of it before?
I mean, it's commonplace in Elendil. They use it all the time. It was coal.
Then I start citing. I'm like, did you know that the fire 3 years ago in Elendil was started by someone experimenting with an electrical generator? It's true. 3 blocks burned down before they could stop the blaze.
Okay, yeah, you can use Spout Lore as well.
Thank you, sir.
Let's roll.
It's 5d6.
Spout lore is
Oh
such
my
a good
god,
game.
we need to one day do. So I know for Uno and for Yu-Gi-Oh it makes sense because those rules are easy to follow. We need to do if Mistborn was anime thing where someone's like, he rolled a pair of 5s. Those are nudges. He can use those nudges to increase his damage. We're gonna have to do it. Wow, I did roll a pair of nudges, but nothing else. So no, you get to throw a complication on her, and you get exactly what you want out of the situation. And it's gonna be real good.
Loose-lipped.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so she's like, well, I have to tell you, I didn't want to say anything, but I very much believe that Councilman Fanny Mae Binwin is completely behind this entire fiasco. She, I think, has... I don't want to say anything infidelis, but she might be dating the owner of the project to open the power plant. You understand how scandalous that could be.
Oh my!
Absolutely
Insider
scandalous.
trading and whatnot. It's
Indeed,
despicable.
indeed, sir. And I do not wish to ruin her good reputation before the paper, but a man like you could definitely get far more information than I could. I don't have your kind of clever resources or your fantastic mustache.
Oh well, you are so kind. Thank you, lady. Can I buy you a cold beverage? There was this young gentleman selling this most delightful sparkling drink.
There is far too much sugar in those elixirs for me. I prefer my water to be entirely water-filled.
But also,
Yes.
I take small amounts of poison and then distill it over many to get the health benefit from it.
Less air is more quenching, I do assume. Makes sense. Yeah, and I'll just like chat with her.
It's not the
Maybe-
carbonation process she's worried about, it's the sugar.
Yeah, maybe I'll like just walk and talk with her a little while and actually try to like lead her away from like the crowded station so that she's actually not getting her message about electricity out.
Yeah, it works exactly as you intend. Such message is not sent. All right, so let's see here. I need to get you a name for the person running the...
Oh, the engineer, builder, or whatever?
Yeah, and her name is Belle
And
Geffinery. It's not Bell End, no. Boom, there you go. So, I feel like this is a good time to take a long breather, let people spend advancements if they have any, which most people won't.
I don't think that's necessary. We're sort of in the middle of stuff. I mean, if you
Are we?
want,
Okay, if you feel that you don't need to make any changes to the plan of action, you can continue to move ahead.
no information has changed on our
All
part.
right. Well,
so-
then we continue to move forward. You tell me what the next scene is. By my count,
You're the leader now, so I mean, I don't have any say in this. I mean,
you're
You're
a
the
player.
house
You have as
this
much
time.
say in this as
Good luck.
possible.
I'm sorry, Kelsa. Are you wanting me to take a long breather? Is that what you're trying to player glance at me and communicate?
Through the Zoom.
The
True,
next
true.
I meaningfully glance at my webcam.
Now, see, I would get the resources I spent back, but I would lose the gang of thugs that I have that are doing my bidding right now. So
That's
that's
true.
you
And your next scene is
re-
mediate between the
them.
thugs and McFanny. So if you're not doing anything else, we need to jump to that.
I am doing other things, and
Okay.
that might not be the plan, but we will do something. Anyway, let's update Desha in what's happening.
Okay.
So we will do a scene of that where
and then decide if we need to update the plan based on the fact that we don't have Flint and we do have Disha and
did we come up with a reason why he's gone? We will come up with one that he's gone. Don't worry about it. If we
I thought-
busy. He's busy.
Actually, I did come up with one. Do you want to hear it?
I want to hear it.
I
Does,
mean, we
does SciFri want to hear it?
we will take it under consideration.
He's getting that belt buckle made.
It's just blame Tuxtradamus, guys. It's not a great reason.
So
Yep.
it's like newspaper after newspaper after newspaper. Technically, it's called broadsheet. Hits the screen as we hear about and see pictures of a female version of McCree, and her name is Adium Annie, and she has been destroying the dueling circuit. Several bandit gangs have been wiped out entirely by her alone.
Awesome.
She calls herself the fastest gunslinger in the roughs and has openly called out Flint Carson to a duel, and he has left in order to prepare to fight her.
Adium Annie, that's amazing.
Adium Annie.
at high
They say
noon,
she's
I
so
am
fast,
too.
it's like she's got adium.
And then been fired by me for leaving for a childish personal errand.
It's extremely important because your career is riding on this, as you've publicly backed him.
All right, fine.
Duels are serious business, my friend. Duels are serious business.
All right, well, SciFri comes back to a duel that just is happening that he's agreed to.
It's all good.
Desha, we have a scene. The other servant people that I have taken up to Medil are unloading what I assume to be a superfluous amount of luggage into the guest room, which was never intended for guests, but always intended that eventually my sister would insist on coming, and it was always going to be her room. So
just surprisingly little luggage. Actually, you were expecting her to bring like
Mm-hmm.
cart trunks and trunks, and she has like one, and it's like all of her finery has been left back in Ellendale. Like all of it is back there. She has like one trunk that has like 3 outfits, and that is, and they're not even fancy outfits. She doesn't even have a single fancy dress on her.
So I bring Desha into the kitchen, where there's just enough, crackling fire and bubbling pots to cover the voices of our any drifting voices of the conversation. And Miss Desha, good to see that you made it in one piece. Is there anything of interest that occurred on the journey?
No, it was fairly standard. Nothing surprising, nothing eventful. Quiet trip from Ellendale.
Your associate, Mr. Carson, is off proving his reputation, as I have emboldened the quality of the people I employ to the people of Medil. It's important that public declarations such as that not go unanswered. Unfortunately, that leaves us a fastest gun in the West down for a little business arrangement. Things are going interesting. We have a few more employees, so to speak, than last we spoke.
Mm-hmm.
They're currently engaging in some aggressive business practices to ensure that our competition is willing to sell out. Tell me,
I see.
what condition are you in after your little journey? Just how up to cracking some skulls are you?
Whatever you need me to do, I will do.
You're top notch. I need to continue this little public show of employing the best of the best. I hope you don't mind being in the spotlight a little bit, Miss Desha.
Not at all.
There are quite a lot of Kolas blooded out here in Medil. You might end up in a situation somewhat similar to what Mr. Carson is unfortunately experiencing with the random challenges of your ability. I'm sure you can handle the riffraff that are out here. Although there is a particular gentleman who uses 2 of your favorite weapon at once. He's quite impressive, if I do say so.
Uses 2 cleavers.
1 in each hand. He's the leader of the Bearing Boys. Is that right? Did I say that right?
It's Brieger. It's Brieger's
Brieger. There's an R. There's an R. I always forget. I'm not particularly familiar. It's just the stories I've heard from newspapers and such.
I'm probably better with mine.
Well, hopefully we won't have to find out. As a matter of fact, the Briga boys right now are harassing a poor old woman, old lady McFanny, on her farm. And
That seems wrong.
yeah, that's awful shame. But it does mean that that particular property is not particularly appealing to real estate interests. I've offered old lady McFanny to relieve this hot commodity, that I might take up the management and protection of said property in her
I think
stead.
this is about the time that Daisy walks in and she's like stuffing like a sweet bun in her face. Like she's halfway eating it and she's like, "Are you taking up a protection racket? Nix, I thought better of you."
Daisy, I am a protection racket is not what I am doing. I am offering to take an unfortunately public and desired piece of property away from a poor old woman who can't handle the ruffians that are trying to take it from her.
"Oh, I'm so sorry. I misinterpreted the situation. Perhaps if you had invited me to this meeting, I would have known what was going on."
Well, now, it is not your business to know what is going on here in True Medil that is unsavory and unladylike.
Well,
There are-
I was only planning on being here for a short spell. I suppose I can pack up my landau and leave.
And just where would you go?
Adventure.
That is not a location, sister. That is you dying of starvation out in the desert somewhere, smash cut to a bleached white skeleton.
I love the idea of there being a skeleton next to an abandoned town called Adventure.
Oh, portrait.
Yeah, portrait.
Who's he? What's
Portrait.
portrait?
I like the freckles.
Ah!
Oh my god, it's so perfect. I love it.
It's so perfect.
I like
Okay,
the newspaper boy hat too.
I
That
know,
really
it's
sells
good.
it for me.
Amazing.
perfect.
When I first saw it, I was like, "Who is that? Did he literally draw one of the little kids who was selling stuff first?" And then I was like, "Oh, wait a second, that's Daisy."
Oh man, it's so good.
Mhm.
It's Daisy. Thank you.
What was that like 30 minutes?
Yeah, Aristotle on fire
Yep.
as ever.
Sorry to interrupt, but let's
No,
get back
that's so good.
to
Okay,
the scene.
sorry.
So yeah, as I've just said, adventure is not a location. That's you dying of starvation out in the desert somewhere, smash cut to a bleached white skeleton.
Now, brother, that is not true. There are plenty of gentlemen adventurers out there that are making themselves a name. And I, as well, a gentlewoman adventurer, am going to make myself a name.
Is that so? Well, you're going to start by making a name for yourself as my little sister who's come in from Ellendale at all the what passes for high society functions in this town. We are establishing ourselves out here, sister. You will make a good impression for us.
I'm afraid I didn't bring a dress.
That's fine. I brought yours for you.
That sounds like you, Dix. You are always thinking ahead.
He bought
No.
one for me too. I don't
And,
like
like,
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I turn like hands on hips to
I don't like it.
to Daisha, and I'm like, "I am so sorry, Daisha. That is, well, my brother never was very good on thinking about women's feelings."
I'm supposed to wear it when I accompany him to those events. I don't like it at all.
Well, I would be fascinated to see you wearing one, but I understand that you don't wanna.
If I am told to, I will.
Now, you just look so great in your dresses, Miss Desha. I don't know why you would need me to tell you. I had that sheath made up for your cleaver in a style that matches your dress, just like you asked.
I appreciate that.
I'm just feeling I'm feeling an awful amount of an awful amount of thanklessness in this room right now. So you just go ahead and get settled in, and you know I'll be around later to ask you more about your journey. And I think we can end that scene there.
Okay. Are we now going to mediate with the thugs and McFanny?
Well, yeah, we have to.
If the
go
answer to
there
that is
while the
no, then we
thugs
need to
are-
take a short breather and plan of action.
Sure, current action possible.
Mediate between the thugs and McFanny.
I'd be happy to help you mediate between those thugs, brother.
Now, see, that is not what we discussed as the plan. But SciFri, of course, was the archivist. Hashtag blame SciFri.
He was writing down random shit that we did not say.
Yeah, he was.
We
He was
remember that.
interpreting what we were saying pretty strongly. So the actual plan, if we actually need to go to a long breather to change this, I was just going to.
We can do a new plan on a short breather. If you want to change the whole scheme, we'll do a long breather.
The scheme doesn't really change; it's just the specifics.
Okay.
I just need to get in touch with the leader of the the
Breakers boys.
Breakers boys again. And I've got a new associate to make that particular little journey. But she stands out a little too much to do it.
Aren't we gonna? Don't we send me to go tell them to go back there, and then you guys go and stop them? Is that how this works?
So. Yeah, I will. Well, but the thing is, we haven't really established that you are willing to do those sorts of things for me yet.
Maybe it's time.
Maybe it's time we establish that you're willing to go the extra mile. Why don't we cut to you telling me what you've learned about the electric plant?
Excellent.
And
you'd be most interested, Mr. Beaumont.
now, I did promise you the best drinks that we have if you got that little piece of information for me. And so I sort of like have, you know, the bottle, the good bottle, and it's like on the desk or the little not the footstool, but like the tea table that's between our two chairs. And so like, you know, the cups are out, and I'm sort of like, what did you learn?
And I'm like, oh, Mr. Beaumont, thank you. You know, I always have our best interests in mind.
Is that so?
Yeah, seems Binwin is. What was the title of this? What was
the? It's Councilwoman Franny May Binwin, and
Franny?
plant manager Belle Ganfrey.
Geffenry. Yep. Silly name, Geffenry. Evidently, planning on building one of these contraptions. Quite useful, I'd say.
And that's the councilwoman that's planning that.
Well, she's trying to get it all passed. The builder is the perhaps lover. I don't know what was being implied there, but
really,
Belga Fenry and the councilman.
So the councilwoman is dating a man who's trying to get a piece of ordinance passed that his business might be allowed to thrive in.
They're both women.
Oh, they're both women.
Belle is with an E, right? Woman's. Yeah.
I mean, that's not that unusual.
I don't think it is here.
Not in this day and age, sir.
Okay.
It is most beneficial to the councilwoman to smooth things out.
And also something of a conflict of interest. Not that I would go around besmirching somebody for such a thing, but, you know, people talk.
It's good to know a secret here or there.
Speaking of secrets, Mr. Pod, you said something that piqued my curiosity at the start of this little conversation. Just what exactly would you consider your best interests?
Well, I've been following you for quite some time. I need a story, a long story. You know, I've been writing and taking pictures for a long time, but I consider myself almost a historian when you start looking over the body of my works. Quite an interest in history.
Isn't that so? And I would dare say that in my company, you have stumbled upon quite a large number of tantalizing stories that have made it to the front page of your paper.
Yes, but some stories are so grandiose, they can only be told at the end. I think you're quite an interesting person, Mr. Beaumont. I'd love to spend some time, see what you're really all about, and maybe have a little fun doing it as well, while I finish up my drink.
Is that so? Well, I appreciate a man who appreciates a good story. Why don't I run a little ditty I've been working on? I fancy myself a bit of a writer. Let me know how this sounds. There's a man, comes from good stock, has a rich family. It comes his time to make it in the world on his own. And he finds that the world is an unfortunately cruel and unfair place. That the only way to make it is to play by those rules, so to speak. And so he sets upon a tale of daring ambition and moral duplicity in order to make his dreams come true.
Well, a man must play by the rules of the game he's in, must he not?
That's exactly what I wanted you to say, Mr. Hart. And I'm glad to hear that we are of one mind. Now imagine that this man playing by these rules, well, imagine that there was a sort of a referee. And that referee is well aware of what the rules are, but if he finds out that you're playing by them, you get disqualified for unsportsmanship. Now, wouldn't that just be a shame? If only there was a way for this man to play the game, but for no one to know that he's playing it. Imagine, for example, if he had a newspaper reporter friend who could travel to various clandestine locations to deliver various clandestine messages that couldn't possibly get back to the man who plays that game. Now, wouldn't that just be something that was mutually beneficial for the man and for the news reporter?
Well, I do like to travel. A good job is always a good adventure. I can hardly keep my pen off the paper these days.
Well,
Write almost anything I hear.
Speaking of pen to paper,
Maybe I clink my glass against the table a few times because it's empty now.
yeah, it gets refilled. So speaking of putting pen to paper, there's this note here addressed to the most colorful little butchery establishment in the bad part of town. Now, if this note were to get into the hands of a certain Kolos-blooded gang leader, and if the goodwill of a certain anonymous benefactor could be delivered to him, I'm sure you get a chance to snap some awfully interesting pictures of the hideout of the worst gang terrorizing true Medil.
No, I don't think you have a thing to worry about. My little press badge gets me quite a few places.
So he sort of slides the envelope across the table.
I just tuck it into my jacket.
You hear a knock at your front door, Dixon.
Why, that must be company. Of course, I have people to answer the door for me. Why don't we have Desha
Is that
answer the
Daisy?
door? Let's have Desha answer the door.
Great.
Get her.
I mean, it could be Daisy.
Daisy is obviously listening in from like the banister upstairs, right? Like,
Oh yeah, I'm just like listening in on this
We
conversation.
just get a pan up.
There's
Yeah.
a knock at the door, and it's just silent for a while, and then Desha comes into view. Do you want me to get that, Mr. Beaumont?
please, Miss Desha, we don't have a doorman anymore. I will, of course, increase your pay accordingly.
Of course. She walks up and opens it. So just blue person, and she just like lean down a little bit.
It's the same man we saw at the train station. Average height. Derby
Welcome
hat.
to the Beaumont
pipe.
Manor.
Copper thread, dude?
Yeah. He's wearing his copper-threaded robe and says, yes, your name is Desha,
Desha.
correct?
Desha, yes.
And then he just starts spouting off random facts about your life. Like, now, when you were growing up with the tribes, how did you enjoy the attentions of a young man? I'm sorry. I assume that's too personal. Can I speak with a Mr. Dixon Beaumont, please?
Mr. Beaumont, a rather rude man, is here.
Oh, do show him in. Mr. Hart, I'm afraid I have to entertain some company. Why don't you get ready to make that little delivery, and I'll
Yes,
send
I think
some-
I'll take a little ride. It is a nice day for it, after all.
Yeah.
Please come in, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Exit scene, right?
shut the door and then get into like I assume there's like a parlor or sitting room or whatever, and yeah.
I reposition myself so that I can.
Oh, you're
eavesdrop
very
on the
low, Kelsa.
conversation.
Volume.
Really? Hold on.
Yeah, super low.
Is it because your microphone is still up in the air?
That could be it.
Because your microphone's still up in the air.
She has
And
that
now
thing
you're
off to the
muted.
side, I think.
Now
Oh,
you
okay.
Using that microphone. I'm using this microphone.
Oh.
Yeah.
A fancy I'm the only one with a dumb gaming headset.
Study, whatever.
Look at all these people with microphones. Ooh.
I'm not gonna disagree just because mine is a Sennheiser and it sounds fucking amazing.
Is this better?
Just a little bit, not much. I don't know
Whatever you
what's cut
did,
your
do
volume.
that like 2 more times.
Hold on.
Yeah, better? Speak?
Hold on. How about now?
That's so
Perfect.
much
Yeah.
better.
Cool.
Perfect.
Okay. Cool. Good. Brilliant.
And now it's upscaling.
That's fine.
No!
It's fine. It's not too loud.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
keep
a
going.
little
Just
bit
keep talking. Just
Yep.
keep
Don't listen to
talking.
Wreckage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zoom might be
Fine.
doing the auto thing.
Zoom's a butt.
So what I was saying is that I was just saying that I'm readjusting my position so that I could eavesdrop on this conversation as well.
She just scoots down the banister and around a corner.
Right, exactly. Like I've never been in this mansion before, but I automatically know all the best eavesdropping locations.
Why don't you tell us what it looks like, Daisy? I don't think we've got a huge amount of description about it.
About the
mansion. Yeah.
Sure. Like
It's not
She's like, there's curtains everywhere and hanging things, big leafy things. I can hide anywhere.
Lots of barrels.
There's cardboard
Lots
boxes,
of barrels.
boxes
cardboard boxes,
everywhere.
just like bushes and rocks. And
She's like, there are several
Right.
sculptures of me that are painted very lifelike. I could just stand next to one of them.
whoa,
No
that's
one will know
creepy.
the difference. No one will know the difference. So I figure that the conversation between Daryl and Dixon was taking place in like an upstairs like private study. But this conversation is going to be taking place like downstairs in a sitting room, and there's like this big grand staircase, and like before I had been sitting on like the what's the word, at the top of a staircase there's like a low rail and like you can look over places.
Balustrade.
Like like sitting at the balustrade, just kind of ostensibly looking out at the like foyer, but actually I was listening in on their conversation. And as Dixon comes out to meet this guy, after they go into the room, I come down the stairs and there's like a servant's door to come into to like bring in cakes or whatever, but there aren't a lot of servants at the mansion right now.
Definitely not
So-
enough cakes either. I'm gonna
Definitely not enough cakes. So
Almost as the cake is a lie.
I wind up going out into the kitchen and then through the servants' door and standing in the hallway of the servants' like the servants' hall, and I'm just like kind of leaning against the wall, very quietly listening in on this conversation, knowing that nobody's going to come down this hallway and nobody's going to go out that door.
So, as this man is led in to Dixon, he pulls out a pair of glasses from underneath his robe, just like shoop, and begins cleaning them. And his entire body language that he's had, as we've seen him on camera, has changed, and his accent changes again as he's like, yes, Mr. Dixon Beaumont, correct?
Yes, I am Dixon Beaumont, and you are?
I have one question for you, Mr. Beaumont. Actually, I have several, but only one that matters.
I'm sorry, did you... I didn't catch your name.
Are you a Candra, sir?
A Candra?
Boom. Show goes black for the commercial break.
And that's why we take a break.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow,
That's
Wow, I don't know why we had the sixth sense to have me leave the fucking scene right before that. That was amazing.
Virgil, I got you the fuck out of there.
That was
I have this conjure detector right here.
I'm gonna be completely honest. It's because I was getting like a Sherlock Holmes vibe from this guy because he's wearing a fucking derby, and I was like,
because he's wearing it.
and I've just given Daryl Hart an incriminating envelope, so I was like, let's get the fuck out of it. Go away.
All right, let's.
I mean, a derby is not what Sherlock Holmes wears, but yes, this man is Holmesian in nature.
Holmesian.
And to be clear, he looks very Terrace. He's taller than most people, has longer arms and legs in the manner of Terrace
he's
people.
Terrace.
Kind of
Okay,
dark
yeah.
skin.
I mean,
Yeah, we will be back shortly in like 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know. I'll just fucking throw a number up there. Get your drinks. We'll be back for a probably shorter than normal, but
No, Kelsa,
longer.
that's not what you're supposed to do.
Longer for us episode
That's
of Outlaw
alcoholic.
Law. Thank you so much, guys.
See you in a bit.
Oh man.